Hello, and welcome to this week's podcast. So tonight I'm going to talk to you about some ways you can boost your immunity through kind of healthy living. So obviously with the COVID pandemic going on, lots of people are real interested in what can they do to help their immune system. Are there things we can do related to our diet and how we live that can affect our immune system for the positive? We all are pretty aware of things we can do or behaviors that are negative for our immune system, but let's talk about some of the positive things we can do that can really have a positive impact on how your immune system functions. The first thing that can really help boost your immune system is really getting enough sleep. Now, I know I've kind of preached that before, but the more and more we learn about sleep, the more we learn how important it is. And unfortunately, in today's world, kind of sleep deprivation is kind of worn as a badge of honor. You hear people say all the time that I function on 4 hours of sleep. And the unfortunate thing is that that's going to be problematic for those individuals, because we're learning how important sleep is in kind of a variety of things related to your health. But one of those big areas is how it affects your immune system. So sleep is essential for your immune system. And when I talk about sleep, I'm talking about high quality sleep. And so obviously, if you have to take medications or things like that, we're learning that those are more kind of sedatives, and they don't really enter that deep sleep. That's the sleep we need. So natural sleep is really, really important. So some things, you need to consider is, first of all, am I getting enough sleep? So if you're an adult, typically an adult, you should try to get at least 7 hours of sleep. Obviously, as you go to different age groups, the younger they are, the more sleep that they need. So, infants need up to 14 hours of sleep, but generally speaking, an adult needs at least 7 hours of sleep a night. And so you should really strive to get that. Well, there are some things you can do to help that, and we call that sleep hygiene. So it's kind of related to habits and routines and kind of the environment you're sleeping in. So a couple tips to help improve your sleep hygiene. Well, the first one is to limit screen time. We're learning more and more that kind of the blue light that's emitted from technology, your TV, your phone, your computer, that blue light wavelength really interferes with your circadian rhythm. So if you can really basically try to stop using those electronic devices at least an hour before your bedtime, that's going to help you. The next thing that's going to help is if you have a regular sleep schedule. A lot of times people think I'll catch up on the weekend, and it really doesn't work that way. You need to really go to bed, kind of create a habit of going to bed and getting up at the same time every night. That's going to kind of let your body understand that this is a time I sleep. Another thing that's going to help you is moderate exercise. And I don't mean right before going to bed, but it's been found that if you do some daily moderate exercise, it actually improves your sleep. Then other things you can do is like a sleep mask or a dark room, kind of controlling the environment. And then obviously limited noise, things like that. Interestingly, a cool room has been found to be very beneficial to helping you sleep. So, cooling off your bedroom at night has been found to improve your sleep. So that's kind of it about sleep that we'll talk about right now. Another thing you can do to really help improve your immune system is eat more healthy fats. There's the normal response of the body to illness or infections is an inflammatory response. And so that mild inflammatory response is good and actually beneficial to help the body beat different type of pathogens. But the problem is we're kind of living in a world now where we just kind of have chronic inflammation. And this is bad. We're learning that chronic inflammation is kind of the root of numerous illnesses. So we need to really figure out how we can prevent the chronic inflammation. Well, the good news is that there's lots of studies that are now showing that healthy fats that really help provide your body with the essential fatty acids that needed to boost your immune system. And these will improve your immunity, and basically it reduces this unfavorable inflammation. So certain healthy fats can really help you fight the inflammation product of kind of chronic illness. So some of the foods rich in these beneficial fatty acids, salmon, olive oil, avocado, nuts and seeds. And these are really high anti-inflammatories. The nice thing is that if we reduce that chronic inflammation, it helps improve your immune system, but also helps lower the risk of all these other chronic diseases such as hypertension, heart disease, diabetes. And so, the healthy fats are something you really should try to incorporate in your diet. Next thing that can help your immune system is eating fermented foods or taking a probiotic supplement. We're learning that there's good bacteria. There's kind of this community within your gut, and hopefully it's composed of good bacteria. And that community is kind of called a probiotic. And basically, having a population of these probiotics may help boost your immunity. It inhibits the growth of harmful bacteria in your gut. And there's evidence that some probiotics promote the production of natural antibodies in your body. So, we want to kind of maintain this gut health by doing things we can do to really promote the development of the good bacteria. And that can be found in fermented foods. So it's like yogurt, kimchi, sauerkraut. These are things rich in probiotics, and they help really kind of keep your digestive system healthy. Now, obviously, these are things that often you hear people, I wouldn't say they're the most palatable things, and you don't hear a lot of people raving about the taste of these things. So there's some things you can do, and that's where kind of the probiotic supplements can come in. But the important thing is you're really trying to promote kind of a good, thriving population of the gut bacteria, and this can really help improve your immune system. There's been studies on this related to taking probiotic supplements, and it's really found that good gut health or the good colony of the bacteria in your gut really has a positive impact on your immune system. Now, the opposite is the reverse too, is if you don't have a healthy gut, then you're jeopardizing your immune system. And the more and more we learn about the kind of the gut and how it works, is we're learning much, much more about how it has impact. There's just not a tube that's passing waste product through us, but it actually has a lot of functions. But one of those functions is helping your immune system. So good gut health is essential for your immunity and promoting good, healthy ability to fight infections and things like that. Another thing you can do to boost your immunity is increase your consumption of whole plant foods. And, so every day, our body in normal kind of metabolism, we're exposed to both free radicals, and we also form these free radicals that are kind of a byproduct of metabolism. So you can have kind of this formation or accumulation of unfavorable inflammatory processes that result in these free radicals. And I already said that the inflammation chronically is a bad thing. So that, like heart disease, Alzheimer's, certain cancers, all these things are being stimulated or driven by chronic inflammation. And so whole plants, they're rich in nutrients and antioxidants. These antioxidants, they're going to help decrease this inflammation by fighting these free radicals, and ultimately it's going to improve your body's ability to fight against harmful pathogens. So the whole plant foods, great antioxidants. So really encourage you to eat them. Also, whole plants, they contain fiber, which also nourishes that kind of that gut probiotics that I already talked about. So it improves gut health. And then also, fruits and vegetables, they're rich in nutrients, including vitamin C, and these may also reduce the severity and duration of the cold or the flu. So, examples of fresh fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds are all good things to be eating for these reasons. The next thing you can do is really limit your consumption of refined sugars. So we're learning, more and more every day about refined sugars, and what those mean is kind of the artificial carbohydrates or not natural, highly processed sugars. And what we're learning is, obviously there's debate, but a belief that this is contributing to the obesity epidemic. But another problem is as you increase these things, then it also weakens your immune system. So again, it's related to inflammation. So as you're consuming these highly refined products, which are sugars, it's going to actually cause an inflammatory response. And it actually then, again, like we've already talked about, inflammation and how it impacts your immunity. And this is a bad thing, obviously. So again, I'm not saying sugars that are found in fresh fruits and things like that, but I'm talking about refined sugars. And so, there's all these health consequences related to this, diabetes, things like that. But really, there's a big risk to your immune system too. So the important thing is to really limit your sugar intake. Try to limit to less than 5% of your daily calories. And so, for example, if you're a 2,000 calorie a day diet, that really means a total of 2 tablespoons of sugar per day. So really, we probably get too much sugar in our diet, and that's something we need to pay more attention to. Another thing we can do to help really improve our immune system is regular exercise. So I already talked a little bit about exercise's impact on sleep and how that's going to help your immune system, but exercise itself directly helps your immune system. Now, the important thing to note here is moderate exercise. If you're someone that is at risk of overtraining, there is a point that exercise becomes detrimental to your health. And so overtraining can actually have a negative consequence on your immune system, and as well as a lot of other problems. But the reality is we really want regular moderate exercise. And what I mean by that is basically, the general recommendations are about 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week. But the important thing is to understand that there are several studies that are showing that moderate exercise does improve the effectiveness of vaccines. It improves the immune response. And it's really important to understand that moderate exercise may actually reduce inflammation. But again, if you over-exercise or overdo it, then that actually kind of shifts that pendulum the other way. So you want exercise, you want moderate exercise in your routine, but it's important really to remember that you don't want to overdo it either. So that kind of the 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week is essential. Another thing you can do to help boost your immune system is find ways to reduce your stress levels. What's important is we're learning that stress, while there's this huge emotional component of it, there is also a physiological component. And one of the things that stress does is really, again, it promotes that inflammation response. And again, that suppresses your immune system and obviously has a lot of other negative consequences, but it directly impacts your immune system. So how you manage stress, you're not going to avoid stress. You have to really learn how to manage stress. And that's what the key here is reality is in the world we live in, you're not going to avoid it. So then it becomes, how do you manage it? Well, some of the things you can do is, again, regular exercise is very helpful for stress management. There's meditation or mindfulness, journaling, yoga, those types of things. Then obviously, if you're really having difficulty managing your stress, you may want to seek the help of a licensed therapist or counselor to help you, because it's real important that you manage your stress. Another thing that can help boost your immune system is some supplements. So I want to talk a little bit about that. There are some supplements. This has really kind of got a lot of media with COVID, because there's been lots of different things that have been advocated or created some confusion on its impact on the immune system. So I want to talk to you about supplements related to strengthening your body's general immunity. This isn't specific to COVID. It's really, is there things you can do to help improve your immune system as a whole? And yes, there are. Some of those things are like vitamin C. This is very helpful in helping us kind of fight the common cold. Again, this, it doesn't prevent it, but it helps kind of reduce the duration of the illness. Another supplement is vitamin D. Obviously, your level of vitamin D can be very seasonal depending on where you live and how much sun exposure you get. Ideally, the best form of vitamin D is through the sun exposure. But if you live in a climate, or if it's winter and you are unable to really get adequate light exposure, then a vitamin D supplement may be beneficial in helping you boost your immunity. Another supplement is zinc. Zinc is really one of those things that we're learning more and more about, that it does actually probably show some benefit in reducing the cold. Uh, how that impacts other illnesses is unknown, but zinc supplement is one of those things that may have a positive effect on your immune system. Interesting, another supplement is garlic. Garlic's actually been found to really help kind of reduce the common cold incident by about 30%. But obviously there needs to be more research on this. So when we're talking about these supplements, the challenge is finding good scientific data that really kind of helps decide if it works or not. A lot of the information related to supplements is kind of anecdotal, so it's really difficult to make a determination on is a supplement or helpful or not helpful. But you know, in general, the ones I mentioned, there is a fair amount of evidence to show that it does help boost your immune system. So again, all these supplements can be found in whole food, plant-based foods, and so that's the best way to get these type of supplements in your body. But obviously, if you're unable to do that, then yes, there's commercially available supplements. Another thing that can really help boost your immune system is staying well hydrated. One of the challenges is, you know, in today's world, we're busy and doing things, and it can be really difficult to stay hydrated. Not only are we distracted by kind of doing a bunch of stuff, but often we're not drinking water, we're finding something else to drink. And the important thing to understand is you want to be optimally hydrated, because that's going to help. Simply consider, you know, moving nutrients around in the body to the areas that need it. That's dependent on the blood, which is a volume, and so you want to stay hydrated so that those highways are open for the nutrients to flow. For the same, but kind of the opposite direction, getting bad things out of the body is also driven kind of through that way. So hydration is very important to make sure your kidneys are working well, and the highways are able to move those toxic things from one area to the other, so they can be removed from the body. So that's important for your lymphatic system. Also, that lymphatic system is essential for your immune system, and that's really a fluid dependent system. So it's got to be, you have to be well hydrated so that is functioning to its maximum. So the lymphatic system is really kind of the super highway of your immune system. That's where a lot of things happen in your immunity, and so you want to make sure that you're well hydrated so that system is working really to the best of its ability. So hydration, like I said, is real important. Now you get asked all the time, you know, how much water should I drink, and that's really, you know, there's formulas and things like that you can use, but the important thing is you really just want your urine to be a pale yellow. Now, younger people, I tell them, you know, drink when you're thirsty and don't drink when you're not thirsty. But as we get older, we kind of lose that drive of thirst, so we actually have to be more conscious of drinking. So, you know, really consider, you know, how much you're urinating and what is the color of your urine. You want it just you know, a pale yellow, not a dark yellow. It is kind of an indication of how well you're drinking water. Another thing, obviously, that can help boost your immune system is getting vaccinated. This isn't specifically related to the COVID vaccine. There's more than 20 life-threatening diseases that we have vaccines for. And really, a vaccine, all it does is kind of stimulate the immune system to get prepared, so if it is exposed to whatever that pathogen is, that the body already has an army ready to go to fight the infection. So, you know, it's important that vaccinations are known to help and work. So, you know, maintaining or being current on your vaccinations will really help prevent or decrease any illness in the future for yourself. So these are just some things you can do kind of in the world we're living in right now. There's a lot of interest in kind of boosting your immune system naturally. And here's some things you can do yourself. You don't need prescriptions for this. You don't need a doctor to tell you to do it. It's things you can take ownership and do, and work to improve your immune system. So again, if there's any other health or wellness things you think we could maybe help you with, just let us know. Remember, you're on your health journey, and I just really want you to remember that you got it. So thank you.